The illusion of security. Why paychecks are a trap. If your life runs on paychecks, you're not free. You may feel safe, you may feel stable, but in reality, you are standing on a financial cliff, and every payday is just a step back from the edge. You've been told that a paycheck is security, that a job means stability, that showing up, working hard, and waiting for that direct deposit is the smart thing to do. But here's the truth. A paycheck is not security. It's sedation. It numbs you. It keeps you quiet. It gives you just enough comfort to stop you from questioning the system, but never enough to escape it. The moment you become addicted to that bi-weekly hit of money, you stop thinking like an owner and start living like a dependent. You don't make moves, you wait for instructions. You don't build something of your own, you build someone else's dream. And the worst part? You call it normal. Let's break this illusion once and for all. A brief history of the paycheck. The paycheck system was designed during the Industrial Revolution, when factories needed obedient workers, not thinkers. You were trained to show up, follow orders, trade your time for money, and repeat. School? It didn't teach you ownership. It taught you compliance, how to sit still, memorize, obey, all in preparation for a job. This wasn't an accident. It was architecture. The modern system was built not to make you free, but to make you function. Just enough to keep society running, but never enough to break free from the cycle. The danger of just enough. A paycheck gives you just enough to survive, just enough to pay rent, just enough to eat, just enough to pay off the debt they encouraged you to take, and just enough to keep coming back. But here's the trap. The paycheck ends when you stop. No work equals no money. No health equals no income. One bad month and everything unravels. Yet people say this is security. No, it's dependency. Real security isn't found in how much you earn, it's in what you own. The rich know this. That's why they avoid it. The wealthy understand one truth. If your survival depends on working, you're not free. That's why they don't chase jobs, they chase assets. They build systems. They own platforms, not paychecks. They don't count hours, they count equity. While the poor ask, how much is the salary? The rich ask, what do I get to own? This is not about blame, it's about awareness. If you've been working hard for years and still feel stuck, it's not because you're lazy, it's because you've been conditioned, trained to believe that your only option is to trade your life for a paycheck. But now, you're waking up. You're asking deeper questions, and you're realizing the game was never designed for you to win unless you change how you play. You don't escape by earning more. You escape by thinking differently. And that begins with rejecting the illusion that a paycheck equals peace. Because peace doesn't come from money, it comes from control over your money. And that journey from earning to owning starts now. The salary ceiling. Why you can't work your way to wealth. Let's be brutally honest. You will never get rich from a salary. Not because you're not talented, not because you don't work hard, but because the system was never designed to make employees wealthy, only useful. Salary has a limit. Ownership doesn't. A salary is a fixed number. It doesn't grow just because your rent went up. It doesn't increase every time you work harder. And it definitely doesn't multiply while you sleep. Even if you climb the ladder, even if you get promoted again and again, you're still playing on someone else's field under someone else's ceiling. They decide your worth, they decide your hours, they decide your future. And you? You just hope they say yes at your next raise request. The myth of working your way up. You've been told that if you just put in enough time, if you just hustle, if you just wait your turn, eventually you'll be rewarded. But here's the ugly truth. You're not climbing a ladder. You're running on a treadmill. Your energy goes up, your hours go up, your stress goes up, but your wealth, it stays the same. Because you're still stuck on income, not ownership, not leverage, not freedom. More income doesn't equal more wealth. Let's say you double your salary. Sounds amazing, right? But what happens? Your taxes double, your lifestyle inflates, your time disappears, and your stress skyrockets. Suddenly, you're making six figures, but you're still broke, still trading time for money, still stuck. Because wealth isn't about how much you earn. It's about what you keep, what you own, and what keeps paying you. The real problem is you're still the worker. Even if your salary is $200,000 a year, you're still replaceable. You're still dependent. You're still one bad boss, one corporate shift, or one crisis away from losing it all. Ask yourself, if your income stopped tomorrow, how long could you survive? A month? 3? That's not wealth. That's a salary prison with golden bars. Meanwhile, the rich, they build machines that don't stop when they do. Their investments don't need sick days. Their businesses don't panic during layoffs. Their assets keep working, even when they're asleep. Change the goalpost. If your goal is a bigger salary, you're still trapped in the same game, just a more expensive level. Instead, ask, what can I own? What can I build? What pays me even if I don't show up? That's how you break the ceiling. That's how you exit the matrix. That's how you buy your freedom. Because the wealthy don't play for bigger checks. They play for permanent cash flow, for systems, for equity, for peace. And so should you. The asset advantage. Why ownership beats effort. Effort is honorable. Ownership is powerful. Poor people are taught to work harder. Rich people are taught to own more. That's the gap. That's the game. And that's the reason two people can work just as hard, yet one stays stuck while the other breaks free. What exactly is an asset? An asset is anything that puts money in your pocket without needing your time. Let's be clear. A paycheck is earned once, and it stops the moment you do. An asset keeps paying you, again and again, whether you work or not. Examples of real assets. A rental property bringing in income every month. A YouTube video that earns ad revenue for years. A digital product that sells while you sleep. Stocks that pay dividends every quarter. A business that runs without your daily involvement. Each of these is a money machine, some big, some small, but they all share one thing. They pay you repeatedly for work you did once. Why ownership changes everything. When you own something, you own the future. You're no longer depending on a boss. You're not praying for job security. You've created your own income, and no one can take it from you. This is the shift most people never make because they're too busy working to ever step back and ask, what do I actually own? And in that silence, the rich get ahead, not by doing more, but by owning more. Effort ends. Ownership compounds. You can work 10 hours a day, and your income still resets to zero tomorrow. That's the curse of labor. It dies with time. But assets, they compound. They grow while you sleep. They build on themselves. They become ecosystems that feed you endlessly. One rental property can fund the next. One piece of viral content can build a brand. One ebook can launch a business. You don't just get paid, you get multiplied. Stop. I'm not rich. I can't buy assets. This is what most people say, and it's false. You don't need millions. You need momentum. Some of the richest people today started with a free blog, a cheap stock, a used camera, a weekend side hustle. They didn't wait to get rich. They started by building something they owned, however small, because one owned dollar is worth more than 1,000 earned ones. The shift that changes everything. Ask yourself this: what have I built that keeps working when I stop? If the answer is nothing, then all your effort is a treadmill, not a staircase. To escape, you must stop thinking like a worker and start thinking like an owner. Because no matter how hard you work, you will never outrun someone who owns the game.
Paychecks versus cash flow. The rich count differently. You think you need more money, but what you actually need is money that flows, not money that finishes. Poor people think in paychecks. Rich people think in cash flow. It's not just semantics. It's an entirely different financial reality. And if you don't understand the difference, you will chase money your whole life and never be free. A paycheck has an expiration date. A paycheck is like a glass of water. You get it once, you drink it, it's gone. You need another one, and another one, and another. That's why even people with high-paying jobs feel stressed, because the money runs out and the pressure resets. It doesn't matter how much you earn if every dollar dies after you spend it. That's not income. That's dependency in disguise. Cash flow, on the other hand, is like a stream. It keeps running, keeps moving, keeps feeding you whether you're working or resting. You don't fear the end of the month because you're not counting on a paycheck. You're collecting flows, streams, multipliers. While others panic on the 28th, you sleep knowing your systems are still working. That's the game rich people play. Mindset shift. Earn, flow, grow. Poor mindset. What's the salary? How much do I get per hour? Can I make more overtime? Rich mindset. What cash flow does this generate? Can I automate or delegate this? Will this asset grow while I sleep? Same effort, totally different outcomes. Why paychecks keep you poor? Paychecks teach you one dangerous thing. Money only comes if I work. This creates fear. It creates burnout. It creates silence when you should be asking for more. You hesitate to rest. You fear quitting. You stay in jobs you hate because the next deposit is your lifeline. That's not freedom. That's financial hostage. And the worst part? No matter how much you make, it's never enough. Because the money isn't flowing, it's resetting. Why cash flow frees you? Cash flow gives you room to breathe. It gives you options. It gives you time. You can say no to toxic jobs. You can take a break and still get paid. You can reinvest into bigger flows. That's why rich people get richer. They don't just earn more, they multiply more. They don't work harder, they build smarter. Every dollar they earn is planted into something that pays back again and again. Final reminder: stop counting paychecks. Start measuring your life in freedom periods. The question isn't, how much did you make this month? It's, how much came in while you didn't work? Because that number is your real wealth. That number decides your peace. That number shows whether you're still trapped or finally breaking free. Mental programming. Why you were taught to be a worker. You didn't choose to chase paychecks. You were trained to, systematically, repeatedly, quietly. From the moment you entered a classroom, you were being shaped, not for ownership, not for wealth, but for obedience. School was never about freedom. Think about it. School didn't teach you how to invest. It didn't teach you how to build assets. It didn't teach you how to manage money, create cash flow, or own anything. What did it teach you? To arrive on time, to sit quietly, to ask for permission, to memorize and repeat, to obey authority without question. In short, it taught you how to be a good employee. And that wasn't a mistake. It was the design. A system built for the industrial age. The modern education system was created during the Industrial Revolution when factories needed compliant workers, not creative thinkers. They didn't want you to dream. They wanted you to perform. They wanted you to fit into a machine, not build your own. So they trained millions of people to think like this. Work hard, get a good job, wait for retirement. And for a while, that worked, but not anymore. Now, the world has changed, but your programming hasn't. And that's why you feel stuck. The most dangerous inheritance, obedient thinking. Your parents believed it, so they passed it to you. Not because they wanted you to stay small, but because it's all they knew. They told you, go to school, get a degree, find a safe job, because they were scared, and they thought safety meant a steady paycheck. But no one told you the full truth. Jobs end, industries change, bosses replace, paychecks stop. And if you don't own anything, you own nothing, not even your time. You were not taught to question. You were trained to follow rules, but you were never taught to ask, why don't they teach us about money in school? Why is debt so easy to get, but assets so hard to understand? Why do I work harder than ever and still feel poor? Because questioning breaks the system, and the system doesn't want that. It wants quiet workers, predictable workers, desperate workers. People who need the next paycheck more than they need the truth. Reprogramming begins now. You don't have to stay in that mental box. You can break it. You can rebuild your mindset and reclaim your power. But it starts with this. Stop thinking like an employee. Start thinking like an owner. Stop asking, how do I get paid? Start asking, what can I build, own, and multiply? Because no school will teach you that. Only you can. This is not your fault, but it is your fight. You didn't choose this programming, but you must choose to break it. You must unlearn the habits of the worker and relearn the vision of the builder. Because in a world where everyone is trained to obey, the ones who think for themselves become free. Time for money, the most expensive trade you make. You can always earn more money, but you can never earn more time. And yet, most people spend the best hours of their life trading something priceless for something temporary. They clock in, they count hours, they sacrifice birthdays, sunlight, energy, sleep, all for a number in a bank account that disappears by the end of the month. That's not a living, that's a slow surrender. The time-money trap. Let's break it down. You have 24 hours a day. You trade 8 for a job. You lose 2 in traffic. You give 6 to recovery. What's left? Hardly anything for you, your dreams, your family, your health, your soul. And it's all because you've been sold the lie, as long as I'm getting paid, it's worth it. But is it? Is your daughter's childhood worth $25 an hour? Is your mental health worth a weekly deposit? Is your limited time on earth really for rent? The poor trade time, the rich buy it back. They work for money. The rich use money to buy back time. They build assets that earn while they rest. They delegate, automate, outsource. Not because they're lazy, but because they value time more than ego. They know effort doesn't scale, systems do. That's why while you're working 10 hours a day, they're building a machine that works 24/7. Same planet, different freedom. The foundation of true wealth, control over time. Wealth isn't a number, it's control over your day. Can you wake up when you want? Work on what excites you? Say no without fear of financial collapse? If not, you're not wealthy no matter what your income. Because real wealth means choosing how you spend your time, not begging for vacation days, not setting alarms for someone else's dream, not living for weekends and dreading Mondays. Time is not refillable. The most dangerous lie is, I'll work hard now, enjoy life later. But what if later never comes? What if burnout hits before success? What if your kids grow up before you're free? What if your body breaks down before you buy peace? You don't need to wait for retirement to start living. You need to stop selling your life by the hour. How to exit the time for money loop? You can't escape overnight, but you can escape. Here's how. Audit your time like money. Where does it go? What's the return? Use your free hours to build assets, not just rest. Write, create, invest, learn. Think like a producer, not a performer. Can this work for me after I stop touching it? Can it be automated, scaled, or delegated? Each hour you invest in assets is an hour that buys your future freedom. The shift from employee time to empire time. Poor people trade today for a promise of tomorrow. Rich people trade effort today to own tomorrow. You only have so many hours to give. Why give them all away? Start building something now so one day your assets work while you live. Because if you're not careful, you'll spend your life working for money and forget to buy your freedom back. Income addiction. Why you can't stop chasing pay. Let's face it, you're not just working for money. You're dependent on it. You wait for it. You plan your life around it. You fear losing it. And that fear, that anxiety, that deep sense of panic before payday, that's not just stress, that's addiction. Paychecks as a drug. You may not realize it, but most people are addicted to income the same way others are addicted to caffeine, sugar, or nicotine. It's a chemical loop. You get paid, you feel relief. You spend, the stress returns. You wait, anxiety builds. You get paid again, temporary peace, and the cycle repeats. You're not building wealth, you're managing withdrawal. Why this addiction runs deep? This isn't about greed, it's about fear. Fear of not surviving, fear of falling behind, fear of being seen as a failure. You've been conditioned to believe no income equals no life. So you play it safe. You stay quiet at work. You delay your dreams. You never stop to question, why do I have to live this way? Because the system trained you to chase the next paycheck, not the next level of freedom. The invisible chains of income dependency. Here's how you know you're income addicted. You tolerate toxic jobs because you need the money. You panic when there's no paycheck scheduled. You avoid risk even if it means lifelong stagnation. You feel guilty resting unless you're earning. You think in months, not in years. This isn't financial planning. This is survival mode. And the more you normalize it, the deeper you stay stuck. The myth of, if I just earn more. You tell yourself, if I could just earn a little more, things would get better. But here's what really happens. You earn more, you spend more, you feel just as stressed. You wait for the next payday again. Because earning more doesn't fix the addiction, it feeds it. Until you shift from chasing money to creating systems that produce it, you'll always need just a little more. Break the cycle. Cravings versus creation. You have two options. Keep craving the next deposit, or start creating something that deposits for you. That could be a product you sell, a rental unit you manage, a dividend-paying asset, a digital system you own. Each one weakens the addiction. Each one buys you time. Each one reminds you, I don't have to chase anymore. I can build. Freedom feels boring at first. Breaking income addiction is uncomfortable. It feels slow. It feels uncertain. It feels like you're giving up the rush of being needed and paid. But guess what? Peace doesn't feel like a thrill. It feels like space, like calm, like waking up without panic. And when money starts coming to you instead of you running after it, you finally breathe, not just once a month, but every day.
Ownership equals leverage. Why assets multiply wealth. Poor people work harder. Rich people own smarter. That's the difference no one taught you. You were told to hustle, to grind, to put in the hours. Meanwhile, the rich, they don't just work, they leverage. They use what they own to multiply what they earn. Because here's the hidden formula of wealth. Ownership equals leverage, and leverage changes everything. What is leverage? Leverage is power without pressure. It means doing something once and getting paid many times. It means using tools, systems, or people to expand your output without expanding your hours. Think of it like this. One person writes a book. It sells for years. One person builds a course. Thousands take it. One person buys a rental property. It pays them every month. One person invests in a company. That company works even when they don't. That's leverage. That's ownership in action. Labor has limits. Leverage doesn't. You can only work so many hours in a day. You have only one body, one brain, one pair of hands. Eventually, you burn out. Your time runs out. Your energy fades. But when you own something, a system, a product, a platform, you unlock scalability. Your money keeps moving, even if you're asleep. Your business grows, even if you're on vacation. Your impact multiplies, even if you say nothing. That's not luck, that's design. The power of ownership. Here's what rich people understand. If I don't own it, I don't control it. Ownership gives you control over pricing, control over direction, control over decisions, control over your future. Without ownership, you're just a renter in life. You work inside systems you don't influence. You build dreams you don't benefit from. You pour your energy into engines that don't have your name on them. But when you own, you shift from expendable to exponential. Examples of leverage in the real world. Digital products. Write it once, sell it forever. No shipping, no stock, no limits. Online content. YouTube, podcasts. One video equals income for years. Every view compounds brand and trust. Real estate rentals. Buy once, cash flow monthly. Rents rise, equity grows. Investments. Your money works in companies you don't run. Dividends and appreciation become your silent employees. Teams and automation. People and machines handle the workload. You focus on growth, not maintenance. All of these are forms of leverage. All of them start with ownership. The flywheel effect. Here's the real magic. Assets feed more assets. Your rental pays for your next property. Your course funds your next launch. Your dividend stock buys more shares. Your business profit reinvests into scaling. This is how the rich escape the trap of more work equals more money. They build a flywheel, and every spin makes them richer without them spinning it forever. Stop. You don't need to be rich to start. You need to think differently. Too many people say, I'll build assets once I have more money. No,
You build leverage now so you have more money later. Start with your skills, your voice, your ideas, your extra time, your small savings. Don't wait to own. Own something now and grow it. Because once you taste leverage, you'll never want to trade hours for dollars again. Planting seeds. How the rich build wealth that grows. Poor people eat what they earn. Rich people plant what they earn. That's the difference. While most people consume every dollar they make, the wealthy treat every dollar like a seed, something they can plant today that will grow tomorrow. If you want to escape the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle, you must stop being a consumer of money and start being a farmer of wealth. A paycheck is a fruit. You eat it, it's gone. An asset is a tree. You plant it, you water it, you wait, and then it feeds you for life. Poor people want the fruit. Rich people want the forest. Which one are you building? The work most people avoid, planting. Planting isn't sexy. It's not fast. It doesn't give you instant gratification. That's why most people avoid it. They'd rather buy something that makes them feel good now than build something that will feed them for years. But this is what separates the wealthy from the stuck. The rich are willing to wait. They understand that one planted seed, a small investment, a humble product, a side hustle, a rental unit, a blog post, can eventually become an income stream. They're not chasing dopamine. They're building dynasties. The wealth farmer's mindset. To build wealth like a farmer, you must think long-term. You prepare the ground, learn skills, save money. You plant intentionally. Choose your asset wisely. You water it consistently. Show up even when it's boring. You protect it. Manage risk. You wait patiently. Let time compound it. That's how wealth grows. Quietly, slowly, and then suddenly. Small seeds, big trees. Don't underestimate the small. $100 investment in a stock today could become thousands over decades. One video uploaded today could earn revenue for years. One ebook sold today could fund future businesses. The rich don't just invest in things, they invest in possibilities. They don't say, "This won't make me rich." They say, "This is my seed." Brick by brick, tree by tree. Wealth is not built in windfalls. It's built in layers, in consistency, in compounding. You plant a tree, then another, then a row, then an orchard. And one day, you don't just survive, you thrive. Because while others spent everything they earned, you planted. Reinvention versus reinvestment. The poor reinvent every month. New hustle, new budget, new panic. The rich reinvest every month. Same system, same asset, more fuel. That's how empires grow. Not by working harder, but by planting smarter and watering longer. Stop consuming, start planting. Before you buy that thing you'll forget in 3 days, ask, "Could I plant this instead?" Before you scroll for hours, ask, "Could I build something in this time?" Before you envy someone's lifestyle, ask, "What seeds have they planted that I haven't?" Because the truth is simple. Your future harvest depends on today's choices. And the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now.
The invisible work. Why asset builders seem lazy but win big. From the outside, it looks like they're doing nothing. They don't post selfies in the office. They're not bragging about 12-hour shifts. They sleep in. They take walks. They move slow. And you think, lazy.
But you're wrong. Because while most people are grinding for money, these people are quietly building machines that will print money long after the grind is over. The illusion of busyness. Society praises the busy. The employee who stays late, the entrepreneur who skips sleep, the one who says, "I've been swamped all week." But busyness doesn't mean productivity, and movement doesn't mean momentum. Most people are sprinting in circles. They work hard, but not deep. They're busy reacting, not building. Asset builders, they look still, but underneath, something powerful is forming. Invisible work is the work that pays forever. When you're building an asset, a business, a brand, a product, an investment, it doesn't show results immediately. You might write for weeks before your book sells, build videos that no one watches yet, save for months before you can invest, create systems that feel pointless at first. It feels invisible, unrewarded, lonely. But one day, it clicks. The book sells, the views climb, the investments compound, the system runs without you. And people say, "You're so lucky," but they didn't see the silent building behind the scenes. Asset builders work like architects. They don't lay bricks randomly. They design. They map the future. They sacrifice now for scale later. They resist the temptation to look successful today so they can actually succeed tomorrow. They're not performing for applause. They're planting for peace. Why the hardest work looks like no work. Building assets requires patience when others want speed, discipline when no one's watching, belief when no one claps, and long-term thinking in a world of instant hits. It's hard, but it's worth it. Because once the asset works, it never stops. And while others burn out from overwork, asset builders begin to coast, not because they're lazy, but because they were strategic. The shift from ego to outcome. Most people chase validation. I want to look successful. Asset builders chase freedom. I want to be free. That means less talking, more doing. Less showing off, more stacking value. Less look what I did, more watch what it does. They disappear for a while, then return with systems, streams, and results that speak louder than words. The cost of quiet building. Yes, it's slower in the beginning. Yes, it feels like no one notices. Yes, it may not impress your friends. But the trade is this. You work hard once and get paid forever. You build slow and live fast later. You stay unseen and become unforgettable. Final reminder, don't confuse stillness with stagnation. Still waters run deep. Quiet people are often the ones making the loudest moves behind closed doors. So if you're in the season of building, don't apologize. Don't rush to prove anything. Don't abandon the asset because the crowd isn't cheering. Because when your system finally kicks in, the same people who called you lazy will ask you how you did it. Escape the paycheck cycle. First steps toward asset building. You can't escape the system overnight, but you can start escaping today. The paycheck cycle is a trap, but like all traps, it has a door. And that door isn't some grand event. It's not quitting your job tomorrow. It's not winning the lottery. It's not waiting for the right time. It's a simple decision. Start building something that can pay you, even once. That once becomes again, and eventually forever. The cycle you're stuck in. Let's break it down. You work. You get paid. You spend. You wait. You repeat. No matter how much you earn, you're always waiting for the next round. It's survival, not progress. To escape, you must insert something new into that loop. Something that keeps paying even when you don't. That something is called an asset. Step 1. Accept that you need to build outside the job. Your job is not your enemy, but it is a ceiling, not a ladder. You can use your job to fund your escape, but don't confuse it with freedom. You need something that grows outside of it. A side hustle, a content channel, an investment portfolio, a digital product, a micro business. It doesn't matter how small, it matters that you own it. Time. Step 2. Reclaim time from the margins. Don't wait for free time. Steal it back. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. Swap Netflix for knowledge. Turn commutes into courses. Use lunch breaks to plan. Trade weekend escapes for weekend creations. The time is already there. It's just being spent elsewhere. Freedom begins when you take time from consumption and invest it into creation. Money. Step 3. Use your paycheck to buy freedom, not just comfort. Your income is your tool, not your reward. Instead of upgrading your phone, eating out 4 times a week, buying things to look successful, try buying a microphone and starting a podcast, investing in a skill-building course, buying dividend stocks, launching a simple product, creating your first ad campaign. Your money can either buy status or systems. One fades, one frees. Step 4. Choose one asset and stick with it. Don't chase 10 things at once. Choose one. Go deep. Be patient. Ask, what can I create once that pays forever? What problem can I solve that others will pay for? What skill do I already have that can be monetized? Then build. Yes, it will feel slow. Yes, you'll doubt yourself. Yes, no one may notice at first. But remember, every stream begins as a drop. Step 5. Reinvest. Don't relax. The moment something starts working, don't stop. Don't spend the profits. Don't upgrade your lifestyle. Don't celebrate too soon. Reinvest into better tools, into better systems, into better people, into more reach. Use the early wins to buy bigger ones. This is how snowballs become avalanches. The escape plan isn't a secret. It's just rarely followed. Most people know what to do. They just never start. Or worse, they start, then stop at the first sign of discomfort. But you've seen the trap. You understand the difference between earning and owning. And now you're taking steps. Small steps. Invisible steps. But they are yours. And someday soon, those steps will become your escape.
Wealth is not an amount. It's a system that works without you. Most people think wealth is a number, a certain dollar amount, a savings goal, a bank balance. They say, if I hit $1 million, I'll be rich. If I save $500,000, I'll be free. But that's a lie, because wealth isn't a finish line, it's a system. One that makes money without your constant presence. One that runs while you rest. One that grows even when you disappear. Why chasing a number is a trap. Let's say you finally save $1 million. Sounds incredible, right? But what happens if you quit your job? You face a medical emergency. You want to take a year off. Inflation eats into your savings. Suddenly that $1 million isn't freedom, it's a countdown. Every month it gets smaller. Every day you feel the pressure. Because the truth is, saved money runs out, but systems don't. Wealthy people don't rely on sums, they rely on systems. Ask a wealthy person how much they have. They'll redirect the question. They'll tell you about monthly cash flow, recurring revenue, dividend returns, automated businesses, rental incomes, royalties, licensing deals. Because what matters to them isn't how big the pile is, but how well the engine runs. Income that doesn't reset. Most people start at zero every month. They get paid, they spend, they start again. That's survival. The wealthy, they build a financial system that brings money in while they sleep, pays them again and again for old work, funds their lifestyle and their legacy. That's not luck. That's not magic. That's infrastructure. The system mindset. Stop thinking like a laborer. Start thinking like an engineer. Ask, can this scale without me? Can this earn without me? Can I automate this? Can I delegate this? Can I reinvest this? If the answer is yes, you're not building income, you're building wealth. System examples that create wealth. Rental properties. Tenants pay monthly. The property appreciates. You earn even if you travel. Digital products. Create once, sell forever. No limits, no shipping. Content platforms. YouTube, podcast. Evergreen content equals evergreen income. Your videos work harder than you. Automated e-commerce. Set up once, orders come in while you sleep. Dividend stocks. The companies pay you. You don't lift a finger. Affiliate marketing. Share once, earn every time someone clicks or buys. All of these are parts of systems, not one-time paychecks. If you always have to do it again, you're not free. Freedom isn't just about not working. It's about having the option not to. If your income requires your daily presence, you're self-employed, not free. If your income resets to zero every month, you're surviving, not thriving. Wealth begins the moment your systems start replacing your sweat. Build once, get paid forever. That's the mindset. Stop asking, how much can I make? Start asking, what can I build once that keeps paying me forever? Because the rich don't count hours, they count engines, engines that run without them. And you can start building yours today. The legacy loop. Why the rich get richer across generations. It's not just about how the rich live, it's about what they leave behind. Most people work their entire lives to survive one generation. The rich, they build systems that feed generations they'll never meet. Because wealth is not meant to die with you. It's meant to outlive you, to grow stronger, deeper, and wider with every passing hand. The rich don't just leave money, they leave a machine. When a poor person dies, they leave bills, debt, funeral costs, emotional and financial burden. When a rich person dies, they leave businesses that keep running, properties that keep appreciating, investments that keep paying, brands that keep expanding, structures that keep multiplying. They leave momentum. They leave a machine that doesn't stop at death. More than assets, they pass on the mindset. True generational wealth isn't just financial, it's mental. The rich teach their children how to invest, how to delay gratification, how to multiply money, how to take calculated risks, how to build instead of beg, and most importantly, how to think like owners. Because money without mindset is like fuel without fire. It burns out fast. The poor pass down struggle. It's not their fault. They were never taught the game. But without intention, the cycle continues. Kids grow up watching stress around bills. They learn to fear money, not master it. They enter adulthood already in debt. They follow the same paycheck path. They raise the next generation the same way. And round it goes, unless someone decides to break the loop. Legacy starts now, not later.
You don't have to be a millionaire to build a legacy. You just need to start planting seeds now that your children and their children can benefit from. That could be teaching them how to budget, opening a small investment account, building a side hustle you can pass down, buying a rental property they can inherit, documenting your knowledge so it lives on. You don't need wealth to begin the loop. You need vision. Wealth that reinvests itself. The rich understand the compound effect across time. Their money earns, that money is reinvested, that reinvestment grows, that growth is passed on, and the cycle continues. By the time their grandchildren are born, they're stepping onto a moving train, not starting from zero. That's the power of legacy. It's not just what you give, it's what you set in motion. From scarcity to structure. The poor are forced to think short term. How do I pay rent this month? The rich think structurally. How do I build a system that outlives me? Same world, same time, different mindset, different results. Be the first in your family. Maybe no one left you an inheritance. Maybe no one taught you about assets. Maybe you're the first to break the cycle. That's not a burden, that's a calling. Because if you start now, if you build something that pays forward, your children won't inherit struggle. They'll inherit structure, a foundation, a system, a mindset, and a head start. And one day they'll say, "My freedom started because someone before me chose to build instead of survive." Let that someone be you. Assets you can start building today with little money. You don't need to be rich to start. You need to start to become rich. The biggest lie about wealth? That it takes money to make money. The truth? It takes creativity, commitment, and consistency, not capital. There are assets you can start building today, right now, with the phone in your hand, the knowledge in your head, and the hours you're wasting. Let's break them down. Number 1, digital products. Create once, sell forever. You don't need a warehouse. You don't need inventory. You don't even need to be famous. All you need is a solution to a problem people have. You can create ebooks, online courses, Canva templates, Notion planners, meal plans, guides, checklists, and tutorials. Cost to start? Often under $100, sometimes free. Platforms? Gumroad, Payhip, Etsy, Teachable, and Kajabi. One product, one sale, $1 earned. Multiply that over time. It's an asset. Number 2, content creation. Build equity in attention. Attention is the new oil, and you can own a well by showing up. You can start with a YouTube channel, a podcast, a blog, a newsletter, a TikTok series, a faceless voiceover channel. The content may be free at first, but the attention compounds. Once you have an audience, you can monetize through ads, sponsorships, affiliates, merch, digital products, consulting. Cost to start? $0 to $200 for basic gear, mostly time, effort, and clarity. Number 3, rental arbitrage or co-hosting, real estate without owning it. Can't buy a property? No problem. You can lease a property, furnish it, and sublet it short-term, Airbnb. Or you can manage someone else's property for a percentage of the profit. What you're building is a cash flow system, one you can expand, automate, and scale. Your asset is the contract and the system, not the building. Cost to start? $500 to $2,000 depending on location, but often co-hosting needs almost nothing up front. Number 4, dividend stocks or ETFs, small money that grows quietly. Even if you only have $10 to $50 per week, you can begin buying pieces of companies that pay you back. Dividend-paying stocks or index funds will never make you rich overnight, but they teach you to delay gratification, think long-term, grow ownership, and watch money earn money. Platforms like Robinhood, M1 Finance, or Fidelity make this beginner-friendly. This is how you stop spending and start planting. Number 5, affiliate marketing. Monetize what you recommend. If you use a product or love a service, you can get paid to talk about it. Whether it's software, clothing, apps, or books, you can share affiliate links through content, emails, blogs, social media, review websites. Each link becomes a tiny digital salesperson working for you 24/7. Cost to start? 0. Only your credibility and creativity matter. Number 6, skill licensing or knowledge packages. You know something someone else doesn't. Package it. Record tutorials, offer templates, build niche guides, license your designs or music, sell access to your expertise. Turn your past experience into someone else's shortcut. You're not trading time, you're selling reusability. Number 7, drop shipping and print on demand. E-commerce without inventory. You don't need to hold stock to sell products. With drop shipping or POD, your supplier ships directly to the customer. You set up a store, Shopify, Etsy, etc. Choose or design products. Focus on marketing. Let the system fulfill orders. Is it passive? No. Is it scalable? Yes, if you treat it like a business. Cost to start? $100 to $300 to test, but often break even within 1 to 2 months if done right. So what's stopping you? You don't need a loan, an office, an MBA, perfect timing, approval from anyone. You need Wi-Fi, willpower, one clear idea, consistency for 6 to 12 months. If you can't invest money, invest effort. If you can't go fast, go daily. And if you can't see results yet, remember, assets grow like seeds, not fireworks. It's not about working harder. It's about building smarter. The world doesn't pay you for how hard you work. It pays you for how smart you build. If effort alone created wealth, construction workers would be billionaires. Nurses would retire early. Single moms would live in mansions. But that's not how the game works. Because in today's world, the person who builds the system, not the one who sweats in it, takes the prize. The hard work myth. You were taught, work hard and you'll be successful. Put in the hours and life will reward you. Grind now, shine later. But look around. Are the hardest working people the richest? Are the most exhausted people the most free? Are the longest shifting workers the most respected? No. They're burned out, underpaid, often invisible. Because hard work is honorable, but not scalable, and not rewarded equally. What the rich really do differently. They don't work harder, they build smarter. Here's how. They build once, earn many times. Digital product versus hourly service. They hire others to do what they're not best at. Delegation versus do-it-all mentality. They use money to buy time. Outsourcing, tools, automation. They invest in systems, not tasks. Owning the machine versus being the machine. And most importantly, they step back to see the big picture while others are buried in the details. Why working harder keeps you stuck. When you rely solely on hard work, you hit walls. You run out of energy. You run out of time. You can't scale effort. You burn out. You repeat the same month over and over. You might earn a living, but you'll never buy back your life because you're still trading hours for dollars. And as long as that trade continues, your freedom is rented, not owned. Smart builders think in systems. Smart builders don't ask, how can I make more? They ask, how can this run without me? How can I do the work once and get paid repeatedly? What can I automate, delegate, or license? How do I build a flow, not just a task? They build structures that survive their absence. They build engines that don't need fuel every day. They choose leverage, not labor. Examples of smart building. Let's compare. A freelancer designs logos, gets paid once. A smart builder creates a logo template pack, sells 1,000 times. A coach trades hours for sessions. A smart builder turns knowledge into a self-paced course, passive sales. A worker drives deliveries 10 hours a day. A smart builder builds a site that connects couriers and takes a cut from every delivery. See the difference? It's not about doing more. It's about doing different. Replace harder with smarter. Start asking smarter questions. Can this task be done once and reused? Can I record this instead of repeating it? Can I package this as a product or subscription? Can I create once and distribute forever? Because every hour you spend creating leverage is worth more than 10 hours of grinding. Work ethic still matters, but it needs a new direction. This is not about laziness. This is about upgrading your aim. Use your hustle to build. Use your fire to create. Use your effort to escape effort. Because when you stop spending all your energy doing and start spending it designing, everything changes. You work less, you earn more, you stop climbing and start controlling. That's how the rich win. Final wake-up call. If you want freedom, you must own something. Here's the truth no one is coming to tell you. If you don't own anything, you are not free. You may feel safe. You may feel comfortable. You may even feel successful for a while. But deep down, you know it. You're one lost job from collapse, one economic shift from panic, one illness from disaster. Because if all you have is income and none of it is working for you, you don't own your life. It's rented, leased, borrowed on someone else's terms. Look at your life right now. Ask yourself, what do I actually own that pays me? What would keep flowing if I stopped working today? What asset will still be here in 10 years, stronger than it is now? What am I passing on, stress or structure? If you don't like the answers, good, because discomfort is the first sign of change. Alert. The system wants you to stay in line. Let's be clear. You were never meant to win by playing safe. The system was built to train you to chase income, reward you just enough to stay quiet, keep you too busy to question, distract you with promotions, titles, and subscriptions, and rob you of your most precious resource, time. But here's the twist. The door out is always open. You just have to walk through it by building something you control. Everything changes when you become an owner. The day you shift from chasing income to creating assets, you reclaim your time, your decisions, your voice, your legacy. Suddenly, your life isn't run by emails, bosses, or bank apps. It's run by you. You choose what you work on. You choose when to stop. You choose who to serve. That's not just wealth, that's power. Start small, but start now. You don't need to own a building. Start with a blog, a video, a product, a stock, an idea. Whatever it is, make it yours. Make it work without you. Make it something you can plant, water, and multiply. Because in a world where everything is rented, ownership is rebellion. And in a world where noise is constant, building quietly is power. One final thought. If you don't build a system that pays you, you will always be part of someone else's system that pays them. If you don't own a stream, you will always carry a bucket. And if you don't take this seriously now, you'll wake up 10 years from today, older, tired, and still asking, why am I still not free? But it doesn't have to be that way. You can choose something different. You can build something better. You can own your future by owning something today.